Good morning. It is August 1st, 2024. I am sitting on my porch having a cup of coffee. I figured that it's probably a good time for me to do a garden update. I'm going to do this for my own records, and I suppose, like, if anybody else learns something from it, that'd be cool. I'm just learning how to garden, really, and every year is a new experiment. But I wanted to document like some of the things that I learned this year and some of my takeaways, and show kind of like a progress report, so I could look back on this video. And yeah, so I'm gonna drink my coffee and we will get into the garden. This is my celery plant that I amazingly grew from seed. I can't believe I actually sprouted one. So I've been taking care of this. It was kind of unexpected. I didn't think it was going to actually happen, but I'm going to give it some water. Make him happy. Alright, right now this is the basil that I have going. I accidentally planted spinach thinking it was basil, and that didn't turn out so well, so I had to start my basil or pretty late, and this is what it's looking like so far. I'm pretty excited about these herbs. Last year, not one of my herb seeds actually germinated, but this year I did get some herbs. And this is so far how my oregano is looking. This is my thyme. And this is my sage. And this is my second sage. I'll show you my other one. But I planted a whole package of sage seeds in the ground, and only 2 plants came up. And I dug this up and put it in this pot because it was failing to thrive where it was. So far, this are my herbs. I might as well bring up my Pacific Madrone tree. I dug this up out of the mountains last year and planted it in my yard. I love the Pacific Madrone because they actually have like this really smooth skin on it, and they get really big. And so it got a little sunburned this year. That's okay. But I think it's overall looking pretty good this year, and it will survive. These are my sugar snap peas. I already harvested it quite a lot earlier this year, and I'm just letting them go to their full potential where they're dying off. And I am collecting the seeds, and I plan on replanting right here for my fall sugar snap garden. But these pods are nice and dried out. Inside these pods are perfect sugar snap pea seeds. So because I have quite a bit of pods all over, I am going to have definitely enough seeds for my fall garden and for next year as well. So now we're going into my back side garden. I would like to bring up, this is my dogwood tree that I planted last year, and notice how droopy it is. Now, I did read that these dogwoods can go into shock for the first 2 years after transplanting. So I think that's why my dogwood looks pretty droopy. Over here, I have a thornless blackberry bush with big blackberries forming on it. I have been weaving this blackberry bush through this fence. So this is going to be a thornless blackberry fence right here. I planted 2 small plants last year, and this thing is like really taking off. So I'm quite pleased with this fence situation that we have going here. Down here I have honeydew melons that are growing on the grass here, coming through the fence. And I have a butternut squash that's just chilling right there. So this is kind of like a jungle in here. I did plant delicata squash. I'm a big squash fan. And I have 2 growing right here. But I suppose the nice one is right here. Yeah, that's nice. I have a lot of squashes growing in this part right here. Honeydew melon, butternut squash, and delicata squash. I do have a cucumber plant growing right here, and surprise, surprise, there's a cucumber right there. So that's good. Right here, these are my yams, and these are my sweet potatoes. I never had much luck with these sweet potatoes or yams, but we're gonna see how that goes. Okay, so over here, these are my potato plants. Potatoes. Now, every single time I see a flower on my potato plant, I will pick the flower off because that will, here we go, there's a good example. There's a little flower right here. Pick it off. See that? Get the buds off, get the flowers off, because that will stimulate its roots to grow more and make it grow bigger and make it last longer. And so the whole point of a potato is the biggest roots possible. So to make the roots grow bigger, that's a good little trick. This is an onion. I will be collecting the seeds from the onion. But yeah, I have two onions. Okay, back here. This is my cabbage plant. So I have had a problem with cabbage worms this year. I come out here every couple days and kill cabbage worms off my cabbage plant. I normally look behind the leaf and you'll actually see a little egg, and I squash it with my fingers. And they have these white butterflies that come and they land on your cabbage plants and they lay their eggs. Right there's another one right there. And those little eggs hatch and turn into little green worms, and then those little worms eat your cabbage plant. So I have to come on here and pick eggs off and search for worms, and I'm constantly fighting these things. I don't have a net to put over these. I think I'm doing overall pretty well. Now this is a bad sign. You look inside there. See all that poop? That means there's a freaking giant worm. Oh, there he is. Let's get his ass out. This fucker kicking it in my cabbage. Big old poop piles. Look at that. Ugh, disgusting. Is there another one? 2 worms. 2 worms. See, I can't even keep up with them. So I have to come around here and pick, and pray that I freaking kill them. I'm sorry, little worms, but you can't survive today. All right. So I have to check those, the back of the leaves to keep more worms from hatching. But I honestly am not going to do that right now because that takes too much time. Okay, so I have a lot of squashes forming in here. Now over here, these are my carrots that I planted last year, and I let them go to seed, and I'm just kind of like I got them tied off and just kind of hanging out here. And inside here, see if I can get it. There's tons and tons of little seeds. And they're almost ready. They're starting to dry out. And once these are all dried out and brown, I'm going to rustle. I don't know how to say it. I'm just going to get the seeds out. Rub the seeds out, I should say. You can actually see the seeds starting. And I will have literally there's like hundreds of seeds in one of these. And I have tons of them. So I will literally have hundreds of seeds for like the next couple years. Like I won't have to ever buy carrot seeds again, that's for sure. And that is only from letting like 3 carrot plants go to seed. It's like so much. Unbelievable. This is where I had my regular peas growing. I am no longer going to grow regular peas. I think that for how many peas you get and like having to open the pods and get the peas out, it's just not like worth the space that it takes. Like there's just not, it doesn't produce enough. So I am going to let these plants die off, and I'm going to plant the sugar snap peas on this side as well, and just start with sugar snap for this fall, and that's it. So this is the leftovers from the garlic that I was drying and harvested this year. I pulled them and hung them for about 2 weeks, and here right now is my garlic harvest, and this is what I got this year. I'm going to be planting a bunch more and trying to get a better harvest, but I think for my first time ever growing garlic, that is not too bad. Alright, so I made it to the main garden. It is quite the jungle in here. So here I have my bell pepper plants, and I do have some bell peppers starting, so we're going to see how those bell peppers turn out. I have too many bell peppers forming. So I have like 4 here, but then I have like tons and tons of flowers, you see. And so what I would recommend is maybe starting to pick off these flowers and then letting some of the biggest bell peppers grow. Right here is my potato patch. Looks like I don't have any flowers. Now this potato plant is starting to die. That is a great sign. You want all of these potato plants to be brown and dead before you can harvest them. So that means they're starting to die. They're getting closer to harvest time. Here's my strawberry patch. I planted too many squash melon plants too close together. So, I mean, I kind of made a disadvantage for myself with the big jungle where I can't even like walk. It's kind of unfortunate. But I have my butternut squashes. I do have some like honey melon just chilling, big ones. I have to be really careful where I walk. These are my tomato plants, huge tomato plants. See if I can come over to my zucchinis. The zucchini area, yeah, you can't even like walk through here. Just random things growing on the ground. So here I had these volunteer squash plants pop up out of the ground here, and I don't know, I don't recommend, because I didn't give them enough space, so they failed to thrive. So for instance, this one plant right here is literally like so short. It only goes to like right here, and it has a butternut squash on it. So I mean, they kind of failed to thrive. I overdid the spacing. These are my green beans. Too many green beans. Oh my god. They haven't even started to produce yet. But what I've been doing is I put this string, and I've been kind of like twining them up the string, and then they come to the top here, and I kind of like braid. Whoa, that's a good one. Braid them into the vine, and it makes like its own little fence. And I've been just kind of like braiding the tops of them together so they don't like go over to the neighbor's yard. But yeah, there's a lot. I think I'm gonna have a really good green bean harvest. So here are more squash plants. I really like squash, all kinds of squash, so that's why I plant a lot of squash. I was supposed to have a butternut squash plant here, and surprise, surprise, my butternut squash ended up looking like this, which is called a buttercup squash. So we're going to see how that turns out. So it's quite funny that my buttercup squash grows next to my butternut squash. This is my watermelon plant. Yet again, I planted too close together. Can't even walk. I mean, they just take up so much space, and I just wasn't. Every year is a learning process, and a lot of them came up voluntarily. I didn't have the heart to pull them, so it just is. But I do have this big ass watermelon just right there. Look at that. That's gonna be a big one. So yeah, I do have some stuff happening. This is my tomato plant. It's called the Big Daddy. And I don't know if you can see inside here, but if you look inside here, there's big tomatoes in there. So that's pretty cool. And now we're going to the other part of my garden. So this is my first sage that I grew from seed. And I grew this one in a pot, and I planted it out here recently. And it looks like it's going to make it. It is thriving right here. And I have hopes that this little sage plant will someday take up this whole corner with big old sage plant. So yeah, I look forward to like not ever needing to get by sage again. So that'll be good. Okay, I have another potato plant. Lots of squash stuff going on. This is my butternut, or not butternut, spaghetti squash patch. And I do definitely have some spaghetti squashes. Definitely got some stuff going on in here. It just is. And the thing is I planted all spaghetti squashes here, and some of the plants came up and they turned out to be zucchinis. So apparently I have zucchinis here too. But that's okay. I do have a lot of spaghetti squashes that are forming all over. Right here. Okay, lots going on here. And I also planted this year 3 blueberry bushes. This is a blueberry bush. This is a blueberry bush. Oh my gosh. With a little tiny blueberry. Oh my goodness. And this poor crowded thing is a blueberry bush. Planted the stuff too close to it. I won't do that next year. It'll survive. But they're just babies. It's going to take a few years to really produce anything. But the goal is that in about 5 years, this entire corner is going to be nothing but big blueberry bushes. And it's going to be called my blueberry corner. So I look forward to that. I planted more potatoes right around here. And these are going to be like a fall crop potatoes. So I'm trying to plant as much as I can and harvest as much as I can. These are some other tomato plants that I planted. These are the ones that I actually grew from seed. But these are Roma tomatoes that are forming. We'll see. They're in kind of a spot that doesn't get too much sun, and yeah, we'll see how they do. But they're alive. So over here is my compost area, and we compost all of our coffee grounds and produce. We have 2-stage compost. First stage, sorry, this is gonna be pretty gross, but educational purposes. This is the first stage compost, where just all of the nasty stuff gets put into here. This is the second stage compost, where we mix dirt and grass into the compost and stir it up and let it sit even longer. This is the good stuff. We bury this in our garden every year, constantly. We constantly go through so much and just bury it. This is what makes my garden look like this. That's it. This is the secret. So over here we have watermelon patch. More watermelons. That's great. I planted a pear tree this year, and the pear tree is definitely doing good. I would say that it's having some blackening on its leaves. Now, I would think that this blackening on the leaves is either because it's burning from the sun, or I'm watering it too much. I would probably say it's burning from the sun. But it could be either or. But this right here is another tomato bush that just popped up voluntarily right here, and I didn't have the heart to pull it, so I just let it grow, and honestly, maybe I regret it because it's just too much. And here is my cucumber patch. I have lemon and regular cucumbers growing here. I actually harvested them recently, so I don't have any on there. But I just have this like jimmy rigged weird ghetto system that I just let them grow up. And yeah, they do okay. It'll do. It'll do. So I just wanted to show you what my strawberry harvest is looking like right now. This is the strawberries that I just picked. I am producing about this much every 2 to 3 days. I go out there and get a lot of strawberries. So I'm actually quite pleased with how the strawberries are producing. But I think that's about it that I wanted to share. That's how the garden's doing. August, and I suppose I will make a harvest video so we can see, you know, how much squash and melons and tomatoes and stuff that I produced. But for now, I hope that maybe something that I said was educational, or maybe not. I don't know. Doesn't matter. But yeah, till next time. Why are you so cute, huh? Is that how you tell me you want to play with me? Just that cute? Hmm? That's the cutest dog. The cutest dog. Trying to butter me up. Huh? Trying to butter me up. That's what the cute dogs do. Yeah. That's what the cute dogs do.